Oh, that is right. We are live. It is Thursday night. It's 11 p.m. We're going late. Special start time. I got my homies here. Jason Cantu, Comics Misexplained down below. Drinking that Mad Elf, man. It is the season to be imbibing something so delicious and hearty for your liver, my friend.
That's right.
Kicks like a fucking donkey. Man.
I'm going to make this as big as my head.
The chaos is cracking a beer as well. Sierra Nevada.
Yeah, mine's a little more basic. I just had to go to the grocery store.
I've got some. I got some deer piss water. I'm drinking this. So he's got Imperial IPA. You got the Imperial down there as well. I got some drinking Imperial water. This is Comics Core Comic Chat. We are chatting about comics. It's what we do. We got some news for you guys. I got some segments, as you can tell from the top of the show. We got some production. We got some people in the live chat. We're actually multi-streaming right now. You can catch us on Facebook, the Comic Core Facebook channel. Also on Twitch, twitch.com/ComicCore, and also over on the Mainframe channels as well. Mainframe Comic Con on the YouTubes and on the Facebook. We're going to try to expand and put some more content over there. Thank you all for joining us on this Thursday night. A lot of great comics came out this week. And I think, you know what? We're going to start with Jason like we normally do with a segment I like to call Show and Tell. Jason, you know, I got some production for you here on this Show and Tell thing. So let the people see the production, and then you can show them all the cool stuff that you got this week.
Got this Tyler Kirkham Unknown Comics exclusive version variant. It's like the Scorpion and the Venom symbiote. I always thought that'd be cool.
Gargan
design. Yeah. So I've wanted to see this since like third grade. So it's cool that they finally kind of did that for him. So pretty stoked to see that. And I got this, I think it was, his name, Ryan Brown, variant cover of the Robin King.
Sweet.
Pretty good. Sorry, there's a lot of glare everywhere. Pretty good. What else did I get? I think that's about it, man.
That's it? That's all you got?
Oh, wait.
2 things.
Did I show you this one?
I don't know. I'm looking at something else right now. Let me put you back on my screen. That is pretty cool, man. I had not seen that.
All right, and I think that's it.
Thick Thighs Punchline, baby.
Harley. For a second, I was like, why are you showing an old cover? It took me a minute to realize.
Thick Thighs Punchline there.
That's right.
That's awesome. All right, we're going to switch it up. Chaos, what did you pick up this week? Let's go ahead and put you on the big screen here.
Oh, man, I should do my hair.
You don't have to do your hair, man. Keep it real.
I was just down. You know, I guess we're in Reign of X now. So I got
we are.
Number 5.
It rains.
Yeah, that was a pretty good cover. I mean, I continue to enjoy every one of them, even though I don't know some of these characters' histories. X Factor feels like it's half Alpha Flight. Hellions was good. This is like the comedy book it's kind
of the Suicide Squad of
sure.
the X-Men. Yeah,
it is. That's exactly right. And then I think it's I mean, I've never read that much Suicide Squad, so I don't know how funny Suicide Squad is, but it's definitely the comedic.
When it's good, it's funny, and when it's not, it's not.
Yeah, I don't know if you're talking about Hellions or Suicide Squad or both.
Both, actually, yeah. I think they both work that way.
Strange Adventures, we're at number 7. You know, still the very subtle Tom King touch. So I've heard some people are getting sick of this, but I still enjoy it. I like what's going on in it. It's probably I mean, we're only at number 2 for Rorschach and number 1 for Batcat, but I like it. So I got behind on this, and I'm not sure if I bought number 5. I was like only so on it, but I grabbed number 6 of Deceased Dead Planet. So I'm not sure where I am on it. I have to go find if I bought the other. I like hesitated. I was like, should I buy number 5? I was like, no, I need to make sure I don't have it. I need to stop double buying comics. This will soon be the tattoo on my left butt cheek.
That's some pretty ass ink.
Yeah, I know. It'd be great, right?
I love that variant. I didn't see that at my shop.
Oh, yeah,
so.
the last one sitting on the rack, so I made sure I grabbed it. I've been like sort of leaning towards getting more cover A's, but one of the variants. I mean, this could have just said cover A, and then I would have thought that. Right. You know what I mean? So if they don't cost me extra money, not that I don't waste money on expensive variants, but if they don't cost me extra money, then they're all variant A to me. But I thought that looked really cool, and I got like the other. I can't remember whichever one I pre-ordered online. I got that one coming too. I might like keep my eye out for cover A when it's like the half price, Black Friday kind of thing.
Right. That's the way to go. I mean, so many variants came out that those cover A's, there's a million of them out there.
Yeah, there's going to be a billion. And then, I'm hoping that Hulk or Thing variant or whatever, that's the one that'll be expensive, the secret variant. So then the regular ones will be either regular price or half price. Batman, Catwoman, number 1. Definitely one for fans of Mask of the Phantasm if you're around or near my age. I'm almost done here. Thor, and these are the ones I got in hand. I pre-ordered a bunch of stuff, but I don't see those for a couple of weeks. Thor number 10. I really like this. I've heard mixed things because now it's left the cosmic world. People hate it when you turn the people they love into bad guys. And then I picked this one up a long time the other day, but I didn't read it. So that's number 4. But I still read what I can from the Sandman books. I still like them a lot. So this is The Dreaming Waking Hours. It has like a Shakespeare touch to it, and it's by G. Willow Wilson. So pretty cool. That's all I got here.
That is dope. I'm gonna go ahead and put me on the screen here. Oh man, now I'm gonna the thing is I get ambitious with this production, and then I forget to click things. Damn, look at that. That looks pretty though. I like we got a bit of a system going on here.
Looks pretty good, man.
Marvel Snapshot Civil War. That was pretty cool.
Ooh.
I dug that. King in Black. They got the A cover here.
Yeah.
I picked this one up because it's got Wolverines on it and Jean Grey's, and it's Philip Tan. So put the X-Men on there. I'll buy more books. I haven't had a chance to read this yet, but Scotty Young cover here and MODOK rules. So MODOK Head Games number 1. Looking forward to getting into that.
I didn't see that come out.
14,000 different one-shots for the death metal. So
that's the worst one, man. I thought that issue sucked.
I haven't read it.
Is it really?
You know what? There's an Amanda Connor written Super Pet story in here that is really the only reason why I'm kind of excited for it. Batman 104. This is trudging along. Really liking the lead into Reign of X with both of these titles, but you guys know how I am on X-Men, so it didn't have to be good for me to love it. I didn't get a chance to crack into this yet.
Yeah, me either.
But I'm super excited to do so. Cool. This was a really neat little free book. Not a comic itself, kind of just a preview for all the books that I'm going to pirate from Future State. Because I'm not paying $8 per issue
there were some
a 4-issue
cool
Dark
covers,
Detective.
Dude,
yeah, some good-looking covers, sure.
Yeah, I'm going to get some issues just because the covers is like a Tedesco. I want to get for Superman, like when he's on prison or whatever. Like, there's some cool covers, man.
Dr. Aphra, this is continuing to be readable. Not as great as the first run for sure. I didn't pick these up Thanksgiving week, so I got all the end of the Exosword stuff, including some pretty dope variants here. Got the Momoko there. This Excalibur Sar cover, I really dug that. Some Pepe Larraz. I don't know why he did this cover, which is pretty much the same as 2 of the covers he did for Destruction that are almost it's kind of basically the same scene going on there, but I dig it. Excalibur there. Exosword stuff here. Peach Momoko. More Exosword stuff here. I'm loving this, man. Colonel Weird Cosmagog. It's Jeff Lemire telling a kind of a non sequitur around a time story. We got some of that in the Batcat this week, but this is how it's done well. 1031 Detective. And the final issue of the best run of Suicide Squad that has ever existed.
Right.
Tom Taylor Suicide Squad ends in issue 11.
I gotta catch up to that one.
Dude, that's the stuff I picked up this week. Didn't really get any back issues at all. So, but I had to pick up 2 weeks worth of new issues because I didn't pick up my comics last week. So that was pretty cool, man. We did a little show and tell.
Yeah,
I
dude.
like that segment. I think before we get into what we thought of any comics this week or any sort of comic book discussion, we should do some news. But I don't have real news. I just got like news-ish stuff. So breaking this week, we got Haley Steinfeld in her Kate Bishop getup. This better not be the costume.
Is that Punchline? I thought that's Punchline. Is that
no, that is not Punchline. They both be purple, but Kate Bishop's got Pizza Dog, man. Mm-hmm. I think that the biggest reveal of this is that Pizza Dog is in the series.
Yep.
As she's walking Pizza Dog. It's going to be an important part of the show.
Yeah, I'm going to say
we need more super pets.
Spec pick Pizza Dog's first appearance. To go out and buy Pizza Dog's first appearance.
What book is that?
I don't know.
Hawkeye 1?
It's got to be Hawkeye 1.
I think it's Hawkeye 1.
Got to be.
Yeah, people are already buying that up. But, you can find it in dollar bins still. Pizza Dog's first appearance. Bet on it. What do you guys think about this Kate Bishop series? You think that it's going to take off? You think this is going to set the MCU TV universe on fire? What do you guys think?
I think it's going to be good, man. She's easy on the eyes. Hopefully her personality matches and she's fun or something, or hopefully the audience finds a connection. We'll see on the first episode. But I'm holding judgment until then, but I think things are going to go well.
I think so long as it's not the Dawson's Creek of superheroes, like its counterpart Arrow is, it's got a chance.
Oh, I think it'll be better than Arrow. And I think that
I hope so, because
Haley has her some acting chops.
Huh?
She's got acting chops. Did you guys see the True Grit remake?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, she's in it?
She is the lead in the True Grit remake. And it's a phenomenal film. I'm a little bit biased myself because I used to watch the old John Wayne True Grit with my grandfather all the time.
Yeah.
Rooster Cogburn's one of my favorite fictional characters. And I think that they gave it a nice, serious, mature twist in the remake, which is based more off the book than the movie, which had Glenn Campbell in a very hilarious role that Matt Damon did a great job of filling. So if you haven't had a chance to check out True Grit, check out True Grit.
Great. Yeah, all right, guys. True Grit's like my father-in-law's favorite Western of all time, along with Stagecoach. And that's the only reason I know the original True Grit. I didn't know until that remake came out. I was like, oh, yeah.
Man, it was True Grit and the Cowboys, 2 of the later movies from John Wayne. My grandfather, huge Civil War buff, but huge John Wayne fan.
Yeah.
So we weren't watching Civil War documentaries at his house. We were watching John Wayne movies, and I could always convince him to put on True Grit or the Cowboys, so I didn't have to watch some terrible, long-winded Western that I wasn't interested in. But I think he did a great job. They did a great job remaking that, and Haley was a big part of that. I also really enjoyed her in Bumblebee, which I did not expect to like.
Did not see that.
I found really enjoyable. Out of all of the Michael Bay Transformer monstrosities, clearly the most watchable from my perspective.
Oh, Bumblebee got great reviews. Bumblebee got good reviews.
It got pretty good reviews, man.
Yeah. I didn't watch it, but I will one day.
So we're going to move on to the next topic, which I think is a really interesting topic. We got some art out there of some fan casts, and one of them came true, man. Ahsoka Tano was recently portrayed in The Mandalorian by I just blanked on her name. I just had it pulled up. Rosario Dawson.
Mhm.
Yeah, there I am.
Yeah.
Great host. Forgetting the name of the biggest star of the biggest TV show right now. And before Rosario was even contacted about the role, some of this fan art was being passed around the internet. I think
Is
this
that by
one's
Boss
Boss
Logic?
Logic.
Yeah,
Boss
Boss Logic.
I was
Logic,
gonna say,
friend of the
this looks like Matina stealing a former Storm picture.
right, right. But Boss Logic, friend of the channel, friend of Mainframe Comic Con,
Mhm.
one of our first big get guests for the Mainframe Comic Con. Boss Logic does some great photo realistic transformations, and puts these characters, these actors, into the roles where we really want them to be. And this is one of the first instances of the internet being responsible for the casting of Rosario Dawson. She saw this first on the internet. Filoni saw this first on the internet. Like, they had no idea what they were going to do with the role until they kind of saw this, and it forced their hand. And there's two other really, really great fan cast pieces of art right now I want to show you guys. Raul Coley, he's been in a lot of different shows recently, but he has been fan cast as Ezra Bridger from Rebels. I think that this is a fantastic idea. This was actually just debunked the other day. This caused so many rumors that Disney basically had to come out and say that no, we don't have plans to cast Raul in this role.
Who is this
not
guy?
to say that oh geez, what's the name of the freaking show? Oh geez, it's one of those Netflix shows I don't watch that everybody else is loving right now.
I never know
Yeah. I don't know where he's from, but he looks perfect for the role of Ezra. I loved the Rebels. I think that Ezra is a great character for them to bring in, especially if Ahsoka's looking for Thrawn. Thrawn is missing, Ezra's missing, and that's kind of the big cliffhanger of Rebels. So if they bring that all back together, that would be a good thing. Have
Do
you
you
guys seen
think-
Rebels yet?
Yeah,
Nope,
I love
I have
Rebels.
not.
Do you think? Oh, you got to watch Rebels, man. Do you think
Yeah,
it's
you
going to
gotta
be
watch
Ezra
Rebels.
in that temple where
I
they're
think-
taking Grogu next?
Well, I think that Ezra is one option, and I think that this other piece of fan art is another option.
Mace
I
Windu.
kind of want to get into this because Sebastian Stan looks
Oh.
just like freaking Mark Hamill. Like
Oh,
they
yeah, you're
it
right. I
could be
remember
his
that.
son.
Right,
It,
right.
it could be his damn son. He already works for Disney. They got
Yeah.
him under some sort of contract. Get this guy to play Luke. Let's
Yeah.
get Luke a redemption arc before that stupid sequel trilogy
Yeah.
makes him just some fat guy drinking blue milk straight from the teat.
Let him die. Keep him dead. I don't want to see any more Luke.
No, dude, I want to see Luke be all powerful, like just fucking moving planets with the Force. Like, you know what I mean? That's how the books and shit were. Was like they hyped him up and built him up so much. He was so powerful, like
Yeah,
on an
that's right.
insane level. Like I want to see him be Dragon Ball Z, but Star Wars.
That's why they had to
They did that
cancel
shit way
canon.
before Dragon
That's why
Ball
they
Z.
had
I
to
want to see
cancel
it
that
happen.
canon and make a new one.
What?
That's why they had to cancel that canon and make a new one.
Right now, they're taking every opportunity they can to cancel the canon that they already made in that sequel trilogy, and they're using the Mandalorian to do it. And I think that I've been on this kick where I've been rewatching Star Wars in
Yeah.
chronological order.
Mhm.
So I watched episode 1, I watched episode 2, I watched all the Clone Wars, then I watched episode 3, then I watched the final season of the Clone Wars to get me the Ahsoka point of view.
Mm.
Then we watched Solo, then I watched Rebels, then I watched Rogue One, and I'm
Damn.
all the way up to Jedi at this point.
That's awesome.
And I feel like with all of the content that they added through Solo and Rogue One and Rebels and the Clone Wars TV series, I think that, like, I was always an original series guy, like the original trilogy, OG style. Can't break my stride on that. I'm going to go OG till I die.
Yeah.
Now, in rewatching all of that content in like
Mhm.
one, well, not one sitting, but as few
Yeah.
sittings as possible,
Right.
I feel like the prequel era of Star Wars is a much better story
That's
than
funny.
even the original trilogy, in my
That's
opinion.
funny.
Oh yeah,
I think-
but
yeah.
but the execution on the movies isn't great. The story is great. There's a lot of like the timeline is great, right?
I think that the execution on all of the extra media after the release of the movies
Oh, extra media is beautiful. That's my favorite part.
Is so much better than any
yeah.
of the movies are, with the exception of, I would say, Empire. I think that, there's just so much to be gleaned from that. I think that if they take the opportunity to use these live action series to do the same thing for the sequel trilogy, I think that we're going to get a whole lot more out of the sequel trilogy. I'm not saying retcon at all, but I'm saying give us some Luke setting up his Jedi training camp. Give us some of that so we see the bridge that we got through Clone Wars. And I think that
I'll tell you this
casting
right now. If it was just the movies, I would not be as big a Star Wars fan.
Agreed.
And I actually like, I'm weird because I did watch the original ones first. I'm not like someone that watched the Clone Wars first or the prequels first. And I thought it was cool, but like growing up as like a high schooler and stuff, I was definitely more of a Star Trek fan. But all the auxiliary stuff and Rogue One and even Solo, I don't even know why people hate on Solo so much. I thought
it's great. Yeah, it's fantastic. Infinitely rewatchable in the way that the rest of the Star Wars movies really aren't.
Yeah, it is. I think that's what it is. It's rewatches. Like I put on when I work from home, I put on like Indiana Jones and stuff, and Solo's just right up that alley where you just put it on in the background after you've seen it a bunch. Predators like that too, So
yeah, we're gonna move on, but before we move on, guys, let's bring everybody back in here on this layout. I don't want to see your pretty faces. And I want to check in with the chat because we got some people chatting. Got 14 live watchers right now across all the platforms. We're glad to have you here. Let's take a look in here. Ricky Markstat 69, he was first. If you're not first, you're last. And he sent a link to the Discord. Everybody hop on that Discord, talk comics with us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Great Legend was here as well, coming in at number 2, Rogue Leader. Very, very timely with the Star Wars reference. Beyond the Blast Doors, if you're talking Star Wars, these guys do some great Star Wars content every day of the week. Some fantastic stuff going on over behind the blast doors. Chris Barrett in the chat, as always, good to have you. Chaos is Sting. Apparently, he's the old guy stumbling to the ring in AEW with his bad comb over, but not Crow Sting. So, what are you, Dune Sting?
I missed
it. Dune Sting? You're non-Crow Sting?
Oh, someone, Great Legend said something about the Four Horsemen getting back together, and I said I'm the non-Crow Sting. Yeah, there's 2 Stings.
Right. Well, there's a lot of Stings. There's Joker Sting. There's Crow Sting. There's non-Crow Sting. There's Wolfpack Sting. There's Tantric Sex Police Sting. There's Good Music Police Sting, and then there's Dune Sting.
There's Dune Sting. Oh yeah, you're right.
He was in Dune.
Yeah. Well,
that's my favorite Sting.
We're talking about the wrestler, though.
I want to talk about House Atreides.
Yeah, same. But I mean, how about Dune is going to be on HBO Max coming up in 2021?
I can't wait, dude. That stuff going to HBO Max it is a boon for the laziness of staying at home, sitting on your couch, and not putting on pants to see a new movie.
It's awesome.
That's a big dick move, though, to like go, hey, here's our $100 million production movies that we wanted you to spend $12 on. To go watch, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's true.
Dude, they didn't even test it. They were originally going to test it on Wonder Woman, and then
they're like, no.
Then they're like, you know what? We're just going to do it all. Like,
well, they're going to take that Trolls World Tour model. That Trolls movie as an Oscar nod, because it was one of the only movies that released that was animated this year.
Perfect time, dude. Yeah.
William Bird in the chat says, Jesus, had my headphone volume way too loud for that intro. Nah, man,
nothing. Bro.
It's not too loud. You're too old, my friend.
Exactly. It's too loud. You're too old.
Saki the sock puppet popped in. Good to see you, Saki. And TJ the Slab Dragon was in here as well. Awesome chat. We had Sharon, Life with 2 YouTubers, popped in and out. Bubs Comics, friend of the channel, is in here as well. Says, that Sarah Silverman? No, it's not Sarah Silverman. But that would be hilarious.
I got the same.
That is hilarious.
Gore Vidal says, is there a Kate Bishop series? You're damn right there is. It's coming out soon. It's going to have a real Hawkeye in there as well. So we're excited for that. And we got some more stuff going on, man. So Bob World in the chat. Bob World to the front end of that intro. Good to see you, Bob World.
I just joined the Comic Core Discord.
Dude, you weren't in the Comic Core? You weren't in the Comic Core Discord?
No, because
I can't get this guy to do anything.
I had an old phone that was full of memes, and the screen was broken and stuff, and I couldn't update the software.
He's got a special meme phone.
I couldn't update the software because my memory is full, and I'm like, oh, whatever, it's busted anyways, and got a new iPhone 12 Pro Max today, so I'm doing all these like new sign-ins and apps and stuff like that. So that's what I was doing like pretty much all day. Was playing around with this, but yeah. So now I'm in the Discord
on the computer.
Gore Vidal in the chat.
I'm never on the computer.
No, he's never on a computer. The prequels from the late 90s remain unwatchable. The ones from the last decade, on their hand, I can watch. I haven't watched Solo because when I look at the actor, I shake my head. Gore, do yourself a favor, man. Turn Solo on. You'll get over that very quick. There's like 2 cringe points in Solo, right? It's when he gets his name. And it's when he meets Chewie and he's like, Chewbacca. I'm not going to say that every time. We'll have to come up with a nickname. It's just like, don't fucking put that in there. Mm-hmm. Don't do that. But beyond that, it's a really good movie with really good acting too.
I've seen it twice. Both times. The only thing I don't like about Solo is the main actor. I just don't like him.
I like him.
Well, hate away.
I don't like looking at him, man. He's like a poor man's Chris Pine or something. Like it's so weird. And I just don't like it. But everything else, the whole movie is fine with me, man.
His mannerisms are great. The way that he has like this little cheeky Harrison Ford smile as well. I think it's great. I say the prequels from the late 90s, very hard to watch if you go in with Star Wars expectations. If you clear your mind. Use the living force, man. Be mindful. Clear your mind of all Star Wars knowledge and go in from Jump Street from episode 1. And there is a lot of really great storytelling in there. Is the direction great? No. Is the acting great? No. Is the CG timeless? Fuck no. No, it was so overly ambitious for the time that you get a lot of uncanny valley stuff. But beyond that, I think that the world that they build is very rich and very fun to explore. I would say, hey, Gore, go ahead and skip the prequels and just watch the Clone Wars animated TV show.
You should watch the Clone Wars.
Yeah, and you'll be very impressed with it.
I've never seen Clone Wars, and I hear it's great, so I'm going to watch that sometime soon. But I'm stoked to see that. In the Discord, Ricky welcomed me. I was like, oh, thanks, Ricky. And I guess I messed around with this a long time ago, so I didn't realize what my profile picture was. Like, what is that? It's Iron Man from Demon in a Bottle, where he's just sweating in the mirror.
Sweating bullets.
Oh, it's so good. I was like, oh, that's awesome.
Gore also mentioned Sting is in legal trouble, and his millennial friends have never heard of the police. I'm technically, I was born in 1983. That means I'm a millennial. I'm on the cusp, but I will own it, and I know all about the police, my brother. Know all about
fuck the police.
People don't realize we're millennials, Drew.
Easy, fuck the police, right? Is that?
I mean, I love that song too.
NWA had a big problem with Sting, and that's why they did the song.
Yeah, exactly. That was the whole beef.
It's just beef rap.
Going to retcon the reasoning.
Yeah, it's just beef rap.
Yep.
Chris Barrett throwing out cocaine sweats. That's probably true too. All right, guys, we're going to keep on moving here, and we're going to talk some topics. I've got more production here. We're going to play a game. I normally tell you guys what I think about everything that I read this week.
Yeah.
But instead, we're going to play a game where I'm going to let you guys guess what I think about the top 4 comics that came out this week. 1 Marvel, 1 DC, and 2 indie number 1s. Okay?
Okay.
And we're going to play a game that I like to call Banger or Plonker.
Where's your suck it or fuck it?
Yeah, banger or clanger, or like.
Guys, if this book is not a banger, it's going to be a plonker. And we're going to start off hot and heavy. Let's go ahead and throw it up right now. Batman, Catwoman. Tom King.
Oh, you mean
Clayman. Is this a banger or is it a plonker? I'll let the chat vote as well.
It's a banger, but you think it's a plonker.
Oh,
it is a banger, though. You think it's a plonker.
Jason, did you get a chance to read it?
Oh, you mean I thought it was called Catwoman's Big Fat Ass, number 1. I'm pretty sure because it was just close-ups of fucking Catwoman's ass the whole entire book. The art was naturally done by Clay. I'm fucking horny, man.
Oh, you guys are cornballs with this.
Dude,
Clay, man.
you know what? I did it and did enjoy it. I actually did enjoy it. I am gonna say stash it.
You're gonna say banger.
Yeah,
Chaos says it's a banger, but I think it's a plonker. Chris Barrett says he thinks that I think it's a plonker. Let's just look. Let's do a quick review right now. Batman and Catwoman. Batman and Catwoman. I'm going to take this down so you guys can see how I feel about this book. This book sells everything I want in this story, right? You got the Joker. You got Catwoman looking all hot. You got Batman doing Batman stuff. You got the Phantasm coming in, right? Overall, it sells everything I want, but it does it in a hollow way that I'm not buying. At the end of the day, though, the art was stunning. The story was funky but clunky. It's all over the place in all kinds of different timelines, and Tom King doesn't understand his own continuity in his own first issue of his own book. But it's a 6 out of 10, therefore not a plonker. This one's a banger, guys. Sorry, gonna say it right then and there. Will I be buying all these single issues? No. Am I waiting with bated breath for the trade to see how it all ends up? Yes, I am. And then we'll get a banger or plonker for the whole darn deal. So just being over average at this point, the art carries it away from plonker status to being a banger.
Yeah.
Okay. Book number 2, King in Black. This is the big Marvel event. This is everything that Stegman and Cates have been working up to. The Venom God is falling from the sky. Guys, do I think that this is a book that is a banger or a plonker?
Who's first?
I'll go first. I think you're just gonna say banger. It did drag on. Nothing happened. Captain America kept saying, "We got to get ready. You guys on 10? You pumped?" It was like so fucking stupid. But Stegman's art really carried this whole entire thing. It was awesome seeing Stegman do the X-Men. You saw Wolverine like a complete fucking badass. He looks so awesome. It had great art. Stegman just is amazing. Story's okay. I mean, it's a double issue, so I feel like you probably maybe get your money's worth. So that's nice.
I can't believe Jason thinks that it drug on.
It's on its wheels. Is what I should say. You know what I mean? Like it's not like I wasn't having fun or not enjoying myself, but it was just felt like I kept reliving the last 2 seconds of my life over and over again.
So when I read this, I'm gonna go with Drew says it's a banger, but that's because he's Marvel twisted. He has no idea what he's reading when he's reading Batman, Catwoman. Just let me throw that in.
Well, nobody had any idea what they were reading in that book. It made no sense page to page. It was just every page was enjoyable, but when you went to the next page, you're like, "Wait, where am I? What is happening? What's going on?"
He's doing wonderful things where he's even changing that. He's doing this in Rorschach too, where he's even changing the timeline on the same page. I think it's wonderful. And he does have great artists. You're right. But anyway, to the King in Black.
True. What was your Tom King consistency things that what you said was wrong from things he wrote in the past?
He just doesn't. He's not consistent. I think he doesn't pay attention to his own continuity.
Yeah, I agree. I
think that when he's doing something that is so complex that he wants to twist time and continuity in issue 1 of his book, he leaves the reader confused, and not because the story is supposed to be confusing, because it was poorly put together. But as an issue 1, I will give it its forgiveness and say that it is not a plonker.
Yeah.
But as far as King in Black, guys, let's go ahead and talk about King in Black right now. Let's see. What did the chat think of King in Black? Does anybody have any conversations about banger or plonker here?
I don't see any plonkers.
Dorks is in here. King in Black said it's fire. You know what? And I can't disagree with that. This is a straight banger, folks. Straight banger. Just for the simple reason. I've been checked out on Venom. The last story arc on Venom was just like, all right, let's get through it. King in Black's coming. All right, like one more page. Oh yeah, no, everybody's a symbiote. Oh, let's go to this planet where everybody's a fucking symbiote. It's like not like they haven't been symbiotes on every variant cover for the last 6 goddamn years.
Yep.
But guess what? This book right here makes me want to buy more books in this series. It was straight fire, nonstop from the jump. Really, really great. When he ripped a Sentry in half, spoiler alert, and said, I am the Void, that just kind of made it move a little bit. Gave me a little wiggle down low. And and this book is a banger. 9 out of 10.
Action every page.
It's action every page. Every page is just jam-packed.
Yeah.
It's just really great.
Yeah,
and it didn't drag at all for me. I absolutely loved it.
People are trying to use the excuse of the death of Sentry as an excuse to buy this book as a spec. Hashtag spec
I just watched the Stegman podcast today. Some guy that was weird. I just watched the Stegman podcast today, and there's more happening with the Sentry. I think just from what someone in the chat goes, what happened to the Sentry? He goes, let me read this question in the chat. Whoever says, what happened to the Sentry? He goes, okay, let's move on to the news. You know what I mean? So there's more Sentry coming. I guess I didn't read the Siege, and I know that the Siege was actually a pretty violent spot for the Sentry. I don't know if you read that, Drew. So I guess that's a total homage to the Siege. And I didn't know. Even he said he even homaged it shot for shot, like just from the point of view. Yeah. But when you said that, I was like, man, this issue number 1, it's a 5-issue series, and it sort of got every trope out of the way in one issue. It was like every plot point that you get in like a generic and I'm not calling it generic. I'm just saying that, okay, Donny Cates is going to do something else because he just said, okay, everyone's going to fight the bad guy. Okay. They got their ass kicked. You know what I mean? He just went bam, 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 bam. Yeah. You know? And, I mean, we all know these are spoilers here, but we all know Eddie Brock's not going to fall and die off the building. Right.
I don't know. Maybe he does.
I think Spider-Man's going to come swinging to pick him up.
Well, I mean, we know it's going to be something like that, and that's fine. I mean, it's a comic book, right? You got to end in a certain way.
Sure.
But man, if you were bored reading that, I understand like thinking Donny Cates is overrated. And today reading tweets about it, like I was like, people are way too excited about it. So even like my excitement after I read it was sort of like brought down a little bit because people are like, because I thought it's amazing too, but I'm not like dying over it. But yeah, I just think it's exciting. I think as much as I get annoyed by Cates and his tweets and stuff, I think he's just a fun comic book writer. You know?
Yeah. I mean, he definitely has his fun for sure. You know, and he gives. I think he writes what he thinks the audience would like. You know what I mean? Or people, or maybe his younger self. You know, in his mind when he started reading Venom and stuff. And then that's definitely the way to go. You know, so yeah, you should. If you're gonna, do something flashy, you can save it for your own self-created independent property, you know what I mean, which he does with Baby Teeth and God Country and all that stuff. So that's cool. But yeah, I agree. For me, I don't know. It was I like it. It's definitely something good for the general masses. But I think if he really wanted to wow us, he could have. Like he showed us in Silver Surfer Black. That was just outstanding. I think we're gonna see some crazy callbacks to everything he's ever written happening in the King in Black, which is super exciting. I really hope to see those weird protectors, and maybe he can bring back that Silver Surfer Black weird void creature thing that exploded or whatever, and at the end of that, there's all kinds of creatures and cool things we could see. And it'd be nice to get some Trad Moore variants in the future. Hopefully, Marvel, if you're listening, dude, that'd be awesome.
I've got one point of criticism for the book, and it's a continuity thing and something that is Marvel's fault, not necessarily Cates' fault. But like, did you guys read that Jeff Lemire Century mini?
Yeah.
What's that? Cable?
Yeah, at the end of
talking about Old Man Cable being on the cover.
Jeff Lemire got asked that recently. It's like, what was your plan for the Sentry after he flew out into space? After your run, what was it supposed to go? What was supposed to happen to him? And he says, yes, I actually wanted to continue that, and I had plans to originally, and I think he had stuff already written, but not enough, for a whole entire arc. But he had other priorities that took over. So he, was too busy doing a lot of other stuff to finish that Sentry storyline. He just did the one arc, which had, the main character, Robert or Bob, whatever, combined with the Void and meshing into one creature, making him even more powerful and being okay with that. He had full, like... And then he went to space. He went to space to do for the universe. So what's that?
But you guys are saying like the Sentry, there was something with the Sentry. So they brought that on the Stegman podcast too. And Stegman was like, I don't know. I remember that happening. He goes, I don't know that, I have an editor and a writer. Right. And then someone corrected it though in the chat. And I'm not familiar with either of those stories, but someone corrected it. And then they're like, oh yeah, this guy said this. So the Sentry didn't show up in Cates' Guardians run. I thought the Sentry was in Cates' Guardian run. He wasn't. But
post that, Jeff Lemire had the Sentry run where Bob came to grips with the fact that he needs to be both the Sentry and the Void, and was more of a gray area character. That was after? Had a red costume with dark hair and kind of fucked off to space, and they never addressed it. And every time he's been seen since, he's been original Sentry.
I think Cates' Guardians was after that Sentry run.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if he popped up in Guardians. I don't think he did.
I just feel like they never addressed. They just kind of threw that really, really great Jeff Lemire story. They just kind of threw it away. And
you're saying in general.
In general, they just kind of were like, we're not doing anything with that, so ignore it.
But that was the last Century book. You know what I mean? Like his own title. Yeah. That was the last book.
And it was really good.
I thought it was good too.
Yeah, very enjoyable.
I want to know what happens, what he would have done in space. Jeff Lemire had a plan, and of course they didn't go through with whatever. He kind of left it for someone else to do, but that could be cool. I want to tweet and see what he says. I should email him actually. Yeah.
All right, before we move on to the game, I just want to shout out Count Strange.
Dude, Count has an awesome the Batman with the guns, my favorite Batman.
Yeah, there's a statue, or do you get the McFarlane toy?
You get the McFarlane Grim Knight.
Dude, Count's toy reviews are on point. Dude, such great HD content there. Yeah. Check out Count Von Strange for all your toy needs. I try to shoot toy videos, and I'm like, it's not as good as Count, so I'm not going to put this out.
Dude, I need that Grim Knight toy though. ASAP. I forgot about it until his video popped up like this morning or yesterday.
It is pretty dope. I saw it in the mall at an FYE, and it was like $32. I was like, fuck that.
No, I'm doing that.
Yeah. All right, guys.
34
back to the game.
Mm-hmm.
Back to the game.
All right.
Banger or plonker. I read 2 separate #1 independent issues from Aftershock. Knock 'em Dead, the story by Elliot Rao, Mattia Monaco on the art. This is the story of a floundering stand-up comedian. And do you guys think that this was a banger or a plonker?
I know nothing about it. I remember a preview of a different stand-up comedian comic recently, which is strange. That was by Stephen King's son, Joe Hill.
Joe Hill,
or at least sponsored, produced by him or whatever. But I don't know, man. I don't know anything about this, but I'm going to say plunker. I don't know. I feel like it's up your alley because I think you're a stand-up comedy guy. You might enjoy the premise so much, enjoy that they tried, but it just doesn't meet your expectations, and it was shit and plonker. So I'm saying you're going to say plonker.
All right, Chris, what do you think?
I'm going to go banger, but this is I have just no basis though. I'm just going to go opposite of Jason, so one of us can be a winner.
All right.
Because I'll read these Aftershocks when they're in trades, because I'm protesting against $4.99 books that are still only 20 pages.
Chris Barrett in the chat says Knock 'em Dead is a banger. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, Chris Barrett, you're wrong. Knock 'em Dead might be the biggest plonker that I have read in recent fucking memory.
Oh, shit, I gotta read it.
Here's the deal with Knock 'em Dead. The guy's a stand-up comic. They show over the course of like 12 pages where he tells the same joke, and then the crowd chirps. There's crickets chirping. He tells the same joke, and he's bombing, and he tells the same joke, and he's bombing, and then finally at like the 12th page, he tells the same joke, and there's like little laughter. But guess what the joke is? The joke is scribbles in a word balloon. More scribbles in a word balloon. Scribbles in a word balloon. Eggplant emoji. That's the joke. The joke of this book is they made a fucking joke book about jokes, and they can't write one fucking joke for him to tell over and over again. They can't write one fucking joke. It's the worst thing I've ever read. The art is phenomenal. Really, really cool cartooning going on in this book, but there is no content worth reading. The end of the first issue tells you nothing about where the story's going, and it's absolute fucking garbage. It's just really, really, really bad. Try again, Aftershock. This was terrible.
Wow.
How do you know it's the same joke?
Because it's the same scribbles in the same emoji.
Oh, it's the eggplant emoji every time?
Every time.
Oh, okay. So scribbles and an eggplant emoji.
So it's just like the idea of like something happened and you got to use your imagination.
Yeah, it's the idea of story set up punchline. Story set up punchline. And I understand that there's a structure of jokes, but here's the deal. If you're going to write a story about stand-up comedy,
at
least come up with the joke.
Yeah, right.
The joke is there's no joke. The joke is there's no content in this book.
And that's the joke.
It's not a joke. It's a scam, and it's terrible. It's absolutely awful.
I understand.
Plonker City.
You're justifiable.
Plonker City.
You're justifiable. I agree.
All right.
12 pages or 12 panels of that?
No, like 12 pages of 9-panel layout.
Well, I'm pretty annoyed. I'm very annoyed by the $4.99 thing. So if you also gave me 12 of those pages were that, I'd probably be pretty pissed.
I'm going to say the cartooning in those panels, very inventive, right? Very expressive. But the fact that you can't even come up with a bad joke to put in your comic, don't write about something else.
Is it a sci-fi, horror, or fantasy? What is it? There's a skeleton.
Who knows? Who knows?
I mean, the cover's a guy, a skeleton, right?
Dude, it's called Knock 'em Dead, which is like, play on words. And the guy's a skeleton, so maybe he's going to be dead, but there's like an accident at the end, and he's like on a gurney in the hospital. So it's like, it doesn't even tell you any, it's character setup where there's really nothing to it.
Yeah, nothing happening until issue 2 or 3. When you know that he's dead, and then he comes back and he's a zombie telling jokes.
Guess what?
This
book is going to be canceled by issue 3.
The other day I was trying to rock the grave next to me, and then my dick fell off.
That's a better bad joke than what we get in the book.
Exactly.
Moving on. I read another number 1. This is from AWA Upshot. This is a spin-off of The Reborn. Right? And this is about a reborn character, a kid who's 15 years old, and once a day he gets electrical powers for 10 minutes. So if he figures out that there's something going on, he's got 10 minutes to save the world. This is a story about him and his brother move with their mother to a new town. He starts in a new school. What do you guys think I thought of Erratic? Let's just start by saying this is written, drawn, and inked and colored by Kari Andrews.
Okay, I'm going to say this is a banger, dude. Concept alone, it could go wrong. I've heard of premises like this before, or superheroes like this before, where they have a time-based thing, What was it, that Bendis creation? Or it wasn't even a Bendis. Bendis just used her Silencer. Wasn't Silencer that was a Zone thing? But there was another one with that. Damage. Remember Damage? Damage
might have been the worst comic in the history of DC Comics.
Damage. He had a timed Hulk-based power. So I don't know. I can see this being good, though.
I'm going to kick you off this show. You say one more positive thing about Damage.
All right, banger.
It's definitely the worst of those new books, but I like Damage. Maybe that fake Spider-Man book was worse than Damage. I think.
Sideways.
Back in the day, I used to shit on Spider Grandpa on Blaster Stash because of how much he liked Damage.
I was reading Damage too, man. Dude, in Damage later on in the second or third arc of Damage, Poison Ivy was in there and she attacked him or whatever, or helped him out. But you find out that she was going to be the next carrier of the green. Swamp Thing was going to die. She was going to be the next Swamp Thing. That was it was leading towards that. And they talk about it in some other comics throughout.
Yeah, it's what a throwaway concept. It was so terrible they put it in Damage.
Until Tom King killed it and brought her back as a fucking plant lady, in a different way,
Well, I'm not a fan of whatever Tom King did with her, but let's just go ahead and say that I'm sure it was better than Damage.
Either way, I say you think Erratic is a banger.
Erratic is a banger. Is that what you think, Chris? What do you think about Erratic? Do you think that I think this is a banger or a plunker?
So I haven't heard bad stuff about this, and if there's one person that could find something wrong with it, it's you. But I'm gonna go with it. You thought it was a banger.
I have a real problem with this book, and I'm going to tell you right now before it is. If you look at the cover, that's art on top of a photo, right? And the whole book is kind of like that. There are photos of settings that Kari Andrews then draws over top of, and he embellishes the photos of like the cars and the buildings. They're embellished a little bit with his pencils and inks, and the color is a little bit skewed and things of that nature. But as far as this book goes, the story, the writing, the premise, the dialogue between the characters, Erratic is a banger. It's a banger, folks.
Yeah.
Erratic is the best #1 issue that I've read from AWA. And I think that my issue with AWA is a lot of their stuff is good, but not great. I think that this story has the potential to be a Spider-Man-esque tale for them, has the potential to be a story that builds upon the world of the Reborn, that builds upon the world of AWA, and gives us a nice teenage hero with a cast of friends and family around him in the way that we haven't really had from AWA yet. I'm excited for Erratic. I will definitely be picking up issue 2. This is going on the pull list, and I'll drop something in the vein of Spider-Man, like Miles Morales is probably not going to be on my pull list much longer. Erratic for me was just a more fun story, and I suggest you guys all go and check it out.
That's
so, guys.
Man.
That was
it out. Yeah, dude,
that's a segment I call Bangers or Plonkers, and we got a lot of bangers today. Only one plonker, and that was that Knock 'em Dead. Plonker of the year, I tell you. Plonker of the year. Guys, this next segment, I'm going to give everybody a chance to talk about what they want to buy next week, what you guys are looking forward to next week. We're going to go ahead and start with Chaos. I want to give you the opportunity here to speak. We're going to move you over here, and we're going to put up some fancy schmancy production. Okay. Tell me what you think is going to be cool about Homesick Pilots. Oh, you're on mute.
Sorry, put the dog down. Sorry about that. I've just recently started getting into Dan Waters and his little group, his little like writing. I don't even know why you would be in a group if you're writers, but with Ram V and Alex, I think it's Pacadell who's doing Giga and stuff. But I've liked Dan Waters' sort of like weird storytelling. It has that like ethereal feel of early Sandman in my eyes. Not exactly the same, maybe a little bit more, maybe not more gothic. I think Sandman's about as gothic as you get for a comic book. But so his Lucifer run was great in the Sandman universe books. I'm reading something called Deep Roots. I'm probably halfway through that first trade, and I like the first Coffin Bound volume 1. A lot of people don't like the second one. I think Jason's one of them that don't.
I do not like that book.
Yeah, I haven't got. Or I don't know if it was it volume 1 or was it volume 2 that you didn't like?
Straight up from issue 1.
I loved. Okay, I loved from the beginning. Some people have told me that volume 2, this second volume after the first trade, isn't as good. I love the first volume. It felt like Kelly Sue DeConnick's Pretty Deadly, but in an urban setting. Anyway, this is I could tell you right now, I'm looking forward to this just because it is Dan Waters, just because I'm still dipping my toe and seeing where it's going. But I mean, the premise is pretty crazy. There's a haunted house walking through California, and there's a lead singer of a high school punk band who's been missing for weeks that lives in it. Like the haunted house is walking through California, whatever the fuck that means. But hey, I'm here for the weird stuff. Essentially, AWA titles. I don't think that they're bad, but I think that they're movie scripts, essentially, that they're just trying to be sold to Hollywood kind of thing. A lot like what Mark Miller's become. So I'm for like stuff like this, like Deep Root, Pretty Deadly, like I just mentioned, for Kelly Sue DeConnick, even though it's not they're not necessarily been like heavily plotted or trying to build these huge continuities. They do things that you could only do in comics, and I have high hopes for this. With that said, I'll probably just buy issue number 1 and then wait for the trade.
All right, Jason, we're going to move on to you now. Give you the opportunity to speak here. Let's go ahead, and we're going to give you your own little graphic here. Bam! Tell us what you think is going to be awesome about Venom 31.
Well, Venom's a pretty quick read. I read it, I think, in like 5 minutes, but I mean, it's exciting, man. I'm excited to see what happens in this King in Black. As much gaff I give, it sometimes, it's because I care. I like it, and the art is sick. I'm excited for more sick art. Dude, it's gonna be cool, man. There's some cool stuff coming out, and it's fun. Cates is a good guy, and yeah, I'm excited. It's gonna be good.
I agree. Iban Coelho has been absolutely killing it recently, and that King in Black, man, just got me psyched to read more Venom myself.
I think.
All right.
I think
I'll put you back. What's that?
I think this Venom, by the way, I think that Venom is going to be about Eddie Brock. I think the rest of King in Black is going to be much more Dylan focused.
Oh yeah. I think Dylan's going to defeat Null.
I mean,
you know what?
That's obvious. I think something else is going to happen. But I think Venom. I think Venom is. How like during Absolute Carnage, the Venom book became the Dylan Brock book.
Right.
I think this is going to follow Eddie more closer.
Okay. Well, I'm clicking too many damn things. Many damn things, guys. I'm too ambitious with the production on this show. Look, I thought about a lot of different books this week that I thought would be pretty cool. There's a crossover number 2's coming out. You got the Venom. I'm super hyped with the King in Black, but there's a new X book on the shelves, guys. And Al Ewing is writing an outer space X-Men story, and it's called Sword. It's called Sword, guys. It's a number 1. It's under the Hickman umbrella, so I'm going to be buying it. I really can't sell it more than that. We've had Hickman X-Men stuff. It's all been great. I mean, Fallen Angels, but it's all been mostly great. And then we're getting more, and Al Ewing is coming on board to write this one. If this spins out of the stuff he was doing with Empire, I'm all for it. And I can't wait to read Sword number 1. That's where I'm at on that one.
They only kill us when we're mutants. Is that what it's called? AKA.
Yeah, we only find them when they've been killed by Sentinels.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm excited for Sword also.
All the stuff that came out of the Ten of Swords, I love the way that it wrapped up. I think that towards this last third of it, there was a little bit too much of that anime tournament arc kind of storytelling going on. I think they drug their feet for a little bit towards the end there, but I think that the last 3 issues we got to wrap the whole damn thing up were phenomenal. The first 2 issues into Reign of X were in Hellions and X Factor, which really did a lot more like slice of life stuff in the X Factor book, and didn't really get into what's going to be going on in the future. I think that Hellions covered what Sinister is doing with that team, and kind of how their arc, which was not as I would say important in the Ten of Swords story, that kind of was wrapped up a little bit there. But I'm excited for Sword because I think it's going to really move into what's going on in this Reign of X time period of storytelling. I'm excited to see where this Otherworld stuff goes. I'm excited to see where all the outer space stuff is going. And people think it's Shadow King on that art. I don't. I think it's Brew. I think that we're going to get a lot more of the Brood stuff. I think that's all going to come up in this Sword book as well. So I mean, I can't say that I'm any less excited for X-Men at this point than I was when House of X number 2 dropped and we found the big Moira spoiler.
That was awesome. Yeah.
I think that I've remained hyped for everything that they're doing. And I think that they found a way to give me something that I didn't know I wanted. And that has gone a long way, in my opinion, to keeping me excited for things. Like, I didn't know I wanted Forge covered in Krakoan plant like tech. I didn't know I wanted that, and now it's cool. It's
Yeah.
cool when I see it, you know. And I think that they're Hickman is one to leave breadcrumbs and then go back and you know, bread a chicken cutlet with it and then fry it up and serve it to you for dinner. So you're like, oh, where did all these breadcrumbs? Where are they leading? They're leading to a delicious meal at the end of the day. I think we're all going to be happy when it comes.
Yeah, he's like, try my my other cook's little side meals first before you before you get to the main course.
It's like, like, well, look, I brought in my sous chef made the appetizer. I hope
and he's working hard. Someone brought up like, hey, why don't, on the same Stegman podcast I referred to earlier, someone brought up like, why don't you bring Hickman on? And Stegman was like, I would love to bring Hickman on, but that guy is stressed. That guy is working hard because even though other people are writing these books, you know what I mean? He's the showrunner. He says not to be called the showrunner, that he's something else, but he's the fucking showrunner.
Yeah, he's the producer.
So he goes, yeah, I'd love to have Hickman on, but that guy's working hard and he is stressed, you know, like that's a lot of books to be juggling and making sure the timeline's right and all that, you know.
That's so awesome, dude. I love Hickman so much, man.
I feel like every time he drops the ball a little bit, it just bounces forward. And it's like, you'll be like, wait, this doesn't add up. And then like 2 issues later in a different story, you're like, oh no, it totally adds up. Like,
yeah, that's why that's why I wait, especially with something like when I knew I was going all in on it. Like I'm just sort of reading it, enjoying it. I'm on the roller coaster. I'm not going to critique the roller coaster on the first loop. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm going to wait and think back on it when it's all over. You know, we probably got another year or so of this, and I'll think back on it. And listen, I mean, when it's all said and done, this is going to be bigger than what he did with Avengers or Fantastic Four. There's going to be a couple hundred issues into it. Not that just he wrote, right, but that he showrun, that we're going to think of Hickman X-Men. And you know, there's no way all of them are going to be already. You know, most of us don't like Fallen Angels. I'm probably the person that likes it the most.
I liked it.
I think we enjoyed it. It just didn't measure up to the rest of the stuff that was coming out.
The art was so good, and I like how it ended too.
You like
the art? Yeah,
I like the art as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I like Kudransky, but I thought he was doing something. I thought the design of the panels was good. I thought it looked a little bit too 1990 CG.
It was kind of rushed.
Yeah, but I think something happened just from like reading Brian Hill's tweets, and just because I know how good of a writer he is in other cases, I think something might have happened there, where it was like, let's just churn this out because we started it.
I feel like it was that not a Psylocke book where they took Cable and X-23 and erased all their character development for the last, you know, ever so months.
Right.
Everything was going on. My main issue with that story is that X-23 is a prop, and she should not be a prop. She should be the top badass.
Well, I was surprised that they referred to Apoth in Hellion.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, did they? Oh, wow.
Yeah. I thought they were just going to wipe their hands of that. You know?
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, that's awesome. Cool. Yeah, actually, Apoth is pretty important in what Psylocke is doing in that book, as we found out in this issue. So,
right.
Anyway, yeah, that's something I echo with you with X-Men. I know you're like an X-Men stan. You're gonna like most of it anyway, Drew, and that's cool.
I think I'm overly critical of it sometimes, based on the fact that I'm such a fan. But
yeah,
I like, and I felt this way about X-Force when it started. That I loved the story they were telling, but the art for me was just so divorced from the story. Even though I enjoyed the art, I felt like the two didn't go together in a way that they should. Well, looking back at it, I very much enjoy that run, the way it looks and the way
I liked X-Force issue 1. Issue 2, they lost me. I haven't been back.
Oh, that was great. That's probably
I'll get to it eventually. I'll read it all eventually, but
I think that's probably the second best.
I hate Mojo, so I mean, not hate, but I'm not a fan of Mojo.
Oh, that was that's X Factor.
Right.
Not Force.
It was the Mojo world.
Oh shit, you're okay. Yeah, I read some early X-Force.
X Factor has been more of a slice of life book than the others has been. It's been kind of like, oh yeah, there's this really great panel in the last issue where there's the the breakdown infographic of where like the spire they live in, and on the opposite page is a picture of the spire with little panels, which is showing you what's going on in each of those rooms. It's just a really well produced, really well put together book. but it's not what it promised it would be yet, but I feel like they're getting back to that with the hook that was dropped at the end of this issue. Yeah, so that's
a great white page because it explains everything. I was reading this at 1 a.m. though, and I will say that I love Hickman. I love the white pages, but at 1 a.m. when I was reading this last night or the night before, whatever it was, when I got to this white page, I was like, "Fuck you." I was like,
how many redacted documents do I have to read to get this story?
Yeah, it was like 1 a.m. I was like, oh, this is my last, like it fell under the bed. I forgot thought I finished this stack, and then I saw it. I was like, oh, I'll read this before I go to bed. And then I got to that white page, and it's not an email. It's just like mumbling, to be honest. I better read it again because maybe I was just I was like, this is the worst I've ever read in my life.
Yeah. So what's that one lady's name in Excalibur and X of Swords that I guess runs the Citadel?
Saturnine.
Yeah, Saturnine.
Yeah, Luna Opal Saturnine.
So Saturnine just wanted Captain Britain back, like the dude, the guy, right? That's all she wanted.
She wanted the core back.
Well, but I mean, she already could have her own core though, like because they had the multiversal kind, which
that was all gone because of the incursions.
The
Captain Britain core. Hickman destroyed the Captain Britain core leading up to Secret War.
But
she wanted. Well, her deal is she is the magistrix, the omniversal magistrix. So she's in charge of making sure that all of realities are in line with what they should be.
It's Marvel's multiverse.
She wants Brian Braddock to take up sort of Captain Britain again because she loves Brian Braddock. Yeah. She has an infatuation with Brian Braddock, and she sees him as the one true Captain Britain who could bring the core back.
Yeah.
When she puts it in X of Swords or Ten of Swords Destruction, right? She gets together the pieces of this like shattered puzzle, and when she puts it together, it's Betsy as Captain Britain. So she's like, well, I guess I got to call the core back together. So she puts the core back together, and the core comes back together in the image of Betsy. So
right. And she wanted Brian. Yeah.
Right. Well, just because she wanted Brian doesn't mean that she can have him.
But the thing is, like recently, like the whole thing in Excalibur series was like they had like, the multiversal characters of the Excalibur cast, so they had Captain Britain like alternatives of those characters. So you had a Captain Britain Gambit, you have a Captain Britain Rogue, you had a Captain Britain, Jubilee. You had all the cast of Excalibur were Captain Britons, and they were going to do a doppelganger fight. It seems it was going to be like that, but I don't think it didn't go there. Instead, they disappeared and fucked off somewhere else.
In X of Swords, they were murdered.
Okay, but since she has access to the multiverse, and all she wants is Brian Braddock, she has a whole entire multiverse of Brian Braddocks. Why doesn't she just go to one and get one or create one?
For the same reason that you buy Oreos and not Hydrox. Name brand, baby.
You're sort of right though. I don't think it's the multiverse the way we've thought about it in other ways, right? But for some reason, she did not have a core. I mean, even though a fake version of Excalibur came, a Captain Britain version of Excalibur came. A lot of people thought Jubilee was killed. I don't think they realized that was a multiverse Jubilee. But
I love Jubilee coming back with the fairy people.
Oh, later on,
later on in the book, she's just like, nope, we're throwing fireworks at these bastards.
Yeah. Did you think that Captain Britain Jubilee when it was killed though? Did you think that was Jubilee?
No. They made it pretty clear. Yeah, they made it pretty clear that those characters were not actually our Excalibur made into Captain Britons, that they had kind of formulated them.
Yeah.
That's one of those threats that felt like it was going nowhere in the first place, and I'm kind of okay that they dropped it. But like Excalibur for me was the book that I would have told people, skip this one. Like, I enjoyed it. I liked what was going on in it, and I found it interesting, but I wouldn't have thought that it led into as big a part of the main story that Hickman was telling as it did. And when we got into Ten of Swords, you knew that it was all about Apocalypse's plot to open Otherworld to get to Araco. And that's all kind of, I wouldn't say it's must read, but I felt like reading that Excalibur run up until the event started gave me a whole lot more ammunition to enjoy it.
Yeah, it became important. Somewhere along the line, Hickman decided that he was going to give Teenie Howard. He was going to give Teenie Howard co-writing credit on it. So somewhere along the line, I think that those are just going to be like little drops at the beginning, because you saw Apocalypse was working on something in the background in the first 5 or 6 issues of that, and then it started to become a lot of Apocalypse working on magic in there. So I mean, I think that I would have said the exact same thing, Drew. And a lot of people dropped Excalibur, and I was like, I get it. I actually didn't love the art in Excalibur. I don't like.
It was so hit or miss.
Yeah, I don't like anime Apocalypse, especially when comparing to like the way I forget his name now, but who was doing most of the X-Men stuff. The way he was drawing Apocalypse.
Francis Yu.
Yeah, the way Yu was drawing Apocalypse, and the way it was drawn in. That was a little bit hard for me too, because some of the cartoonier books, like, I don't mind it, but that was like a little bit tough reading Ten of Swords. You'd get like some of this like Lionel Francis Yu art, and then you'd hop to like, they look like they're drawn by a Dragon Ball artist or something.
Yeah.
The one thing I did like about the Ten of Swords event was that the X-Men book was clearly an Apocalypse story.
Yeah.
Right. The big event anchors were clearly in service of that Apocalypse story. But then when you get into the other books, you could have enjoyed that run without reading the whole X of Swords event, just reading Excalibur. I think that if you pick up the first part of Excalibur that's a part of the event, it's more part of the Excalibur story that's ongoing than it is part of that event. And I think that for them to create such a well-rounded event that doesn't really interfere with a lot of the stories that are being told in those books, I think was pretty masterful.
I think out of all those side X-Men books, I think that Excalibur was like the least picked one that you think you need to read, like a must read to understand and conceptualize, Ten of Swords. And who would have guessed? Because I would have said X-Force, or like something else. I was surprised, and that happened to be the one I read, every single issue of, and I got to catch up with most of the others.
I just think that like the Wolverine book, those Wolverine issues of Ten of Swords, you can read those Wolverine books as part of the Wolverine run, and I have a feeling that you won't need to read the rest of the event to enjoy them and what they're doing. And I kind of felt the same way with Marauders. Was more about the Storm angle and how she was being added to things, and that was just more Storm exploration, character exploration. Of course, it was framed as part of the event, but I think it's enjoyable on its own. Whereas, like, if you didn't
do that,
X Factor still stayed focused on the resurrection and how the resurrection was changed by it. But if you take that book out of the Ten of Swords, X-Men covers everything that they went through in X Factor as well. It just does it really briefly and brings you up to speed. So, like, honestly, if you read X-Men and you read the Ten of Swords 3 anchor books, that I think that you get the entire story. I think that there's a lot of that anime style art, which is, I think it's not anime style art as much as it was anime style storytelling, whereas it's a tournament arc. Like a lot of animes will do that. And at the end of the day, the fact that I heard people complaining, like, when are we going to get to this tournament? When are we going to get to this tournament? And then we got to the tournament and realized it was all screwy, I love that part. I did too. Because it was like, it's going to be a fight to the death. Not everything's a fight to the death. And sometimes they were just really weird, funky, real world.
How long can you hold your breath?
Games, right? Yeah. And then the Gorgon death What's that?
It was quirky and weird, but I loved it. I loved everything after that middle book.
Yeah, I think the Gorgon death was so beautiful in the fact that like he evened the score before he died, and sitting there like he's like, all right, now I'm gonna kill you, but don't worry, you're honorable. I'll bring you back, let you be one of my boys. And he's like, I'm not one of your boys. If you're gonna kill me, I'll walk my own path. And Apocalypse is like, see kids, that's how you die, like a fucking man. And that was just great.
That's how
a mutant dies.
Yeah, not a man.
Look, I had to mansplain it in my my straight white male way. So yeah, my toxic mutant masculinity.
You're part of the right.
Yeah, I love the way that it ended though. I think that Apocalypse basically being like pulling his Dormammu I've come to bargain moment was really great. It was a great twist. He's like, he didn't want to kill his wife. He didn't want to, sacrifice the mutants of Krakoa, and he found a way. They say life finds a way. At least they said that in that dinosaur movie.
Dude,
the council is in tatters right now. And that I think is really cool because in Reign of X, we're going to see how that power vacuum gets filled.
But in Hellions, though, all those people that said they had to quit the council if they left, they were all sitting on the council. Jean is still on the council. Like, so
maybe they haven't.
I think Jean had to leave for something, but she said Nightcrawler to stay because, like,
no,
right. Part of the council.
In the new Hellions,
Hellions, she's still in the council. She's not interested
my
yet.
impression was, if you go, you're out, even if you come back. That was my impression in Ten of Swords. But Jean and Storm,
maybe she's working out her lame duck session.
Yeah, maybe she's. There's going to be a vote.
She's waiting for the inauguration.
Right.
I love that ending.
Joe Biden on the council.
I love that ending too. And
settle for Jean Grey.
Apocalypse is going to die. I thought he was just going to kill off Apocalypse, but I think this is an even better way. And I'm iffy on the humanizing of Apocalypse that we got through Hickman. I think it was done well, but conceptually, I'm like, you could do that with Magneto. Like, Apocalypse and Magneto are essentially, they're essentially the same thing. Where Magneto you can like reason with a little bit. Apocalypse you were never supposed to reason with. He was supposed to be a super extreme version of that. So like conceptually, I didn't like it, but Hickman did it so well, I loved it.
Right? Yeah, it's within Apocalypse's goals. Everything that Hickman wrote is towards what Apocalypse wanted in the first place. It's all power immune. Everything that has been going on is what Apocalypse wanted. So of course he's going to be like more personable,
Yeah, and I mean, and then you somehow built a character out of like that. I mean,
a lot of that comes from the fact that in House and Powers we get Apocalypse going to Krakoa for what we think is the first time, and he's like, "This is not news to me." Like,
oh yeah, that's true too.
Yeah, me and Krakoa go way back, bro. It's
know what I'm saying,
right? It's like for me, it kind of felt like you're meeting your sister's new boyfriend, and like he comes to family dinner, and you meet your sister's new boyfriend, and he's your buddy Steve that you used to get into shit like back 20 years ago. You're like, I know Steve way better than you know Steve, right? And it was this. He saw Krakoa as a mirror to what they had in that original council, because when you see the history of Arakko, you see the original mutant council looks very much, if not directly, the same as the Krakoan council. And I think he sees all of it, and he sees his dreams being realized, and at the same time feels a longing for what he has lost. When they never really answered the question, did Apocalypse leave his family? Or I mean, they kind of you get the gist that she told him to go, right?
But wasn't there a part where like Apocalypse said he'd do anything to get his wife and family back? I swear in the past issue it's something like that, and it came true. He did whatever he had to do.
He did everything he had to do.
Same thing with the council, though. He still pulled an Apocalypse where he got what he wanted.
Right.
He did everything he wanted to do and did what he had to do, and he's out.
Right. I love the fact that he says to Genesis at the end, she's like, "Can I choose you, my love?" And he's like, "I am not the same dude you knew." Right. And he knows that he cares too much. He knows that's a weakness, but I think he feels that that the strengthening of the mutant community is that important. And he would rather go he'd rather go be subservient to Genesis and be with his family and become whole again and make the islands whole again than, like, I think that he still wants the fit to survive, right? He still thinks that the fittest will survive, but he believes that that is mutant kind and not necessarily himself. He's not selfish, but I don't think that his belief structure has changed that drastically. I think that he realized through everything he saw and everything he experienced in this event that survival of the fittest isn't about the one who is the fittest. It is about the many who is the fittest, and him making the mutants, putting them back together, will make them
power to the people.
So two for, at least for me, final thoughts about Apocalypse. One, now I want to go back to that scene where he comes through the gate in House of X. I want to see if Hickman drops any clues on what he says. Like if he just makes if Apocalypse says something now that I can just translate into him, like, oh, I'm back here. And then the second thing is, so one of the things that I've just been like crazy interested in, and I would like to see this, spin out of Hickman after he's done with it, and whoever could write it. I just think it's such a crazy idea, is all of those other Moira lives, life number 9 or whatever, her life number 9 was the one where she teamed up with Apocalypse. And I'd like to see, even though at the end of it all they lose, right, in that life number 9, I'd like to see how that world, obviously he would still be going, still be working towards this whole Rocco thing, right? That we know about. I'd like to see how it mixed in that world where he essentially takes over Earth, right? It's another almost version of modern Age of Apocalypse. I'd like to see how that works in there, or even think of the Age of Apocalypse version of Apocalypse, because theoretically they all started from that point, right? Right. So how you can work that Age of Apocalypse, that storyline wherever he was at a certain point.
That's what I said also a couple months ago. I think it's going to lead to Hickman's Age of Apocalypse.
That was the year 1000 or year 1000 years in the future, or 100 years in the future
with Bishop and shit. Yeah.
And that was the 100 years in the future.
Right.
So I think that reality, that existence of Apocalypse, I think that this Ten of Swords event doesn't happen. Right. I think that I feel like Arakko and Krakoa are still separated.
It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. But what we know about that Apocalypse and the one from the 90s Age of Apocalypse is that this whole time he's had Genesis and his family in the back of his head.
Right. So, and I believe that
in the same way. No, but how can you match them? How can you match those two versions of Apocalypse towards this goal that we now know he's always had?
I think that the goal for that Apocalypse is slightly different than the goal of this Apocalypse, because that Apocalypse was forced into a war where he needed to rally the remaining mutants to fight. That he was, it's not super duper laid out as far as what actually happened in that world. But from my perspective, like just my thinking on it, that is more of an Apocalypse of desperation. That is more of an Apocalypse who is leading the X-Men because nobody else can lead them. That is fighting against the man-machine hybrid, entropy of, mutantdom, because he is the only one who is strong enough to lead them.
So I think that's exactly what it is, right? But like that, and that's why it would be different, right?
Right.
But even though what you're saying is absolutely true, the thing in the back of his mind, the thing he's been doing for thousands of years since since the story and Rise of Apocalypse and whatnot, has been now we know because of Ten of Swords, has been getting his family back. So what kind of cool story could you think of up where you just explain, what you explained, right? And his focus is on this man-machine stuff, but he's still always thinking about bringing all that Arakko stuff here.
Well, I think that's what makes the Moira connection and the birth of this Krakoan society that much more important to Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Because if Apocalypse is sitting there thinking, I want to get my family back, and he's never invited to Krakoa to be with a society of mutants where he can work his magic in out in the open and try to find a way to Otherworld, I think that right there, like the birth of the Krakoan nation, is what let him know that this is a possibility, because the survival of because it's kind of explained throughout the run that the survival of the fittest thing about Apocalypse is him getting mutantdom ready for the fight with Arakko. Yeah. And if he's not put in a position where he can make that happen, then he has to rely on whatever opportunities present themselves. But through the Moira connection, I mean, maybe she knows. Maybe she knew, like, maybe we'll get that in the Moira story, that she knew through her life living as Apocalypse's wife, right, that this Krakoa was important to him enough for him to join and make this the union of Arakko and Krakoa a thing. Like maybe she's the catalyst for that, but we don't know yet.
Yeah.
Right.
Why didn't Apocalypse? Totally. Why do you think Apocalypse didn't do this in 2006? Like, what stopped him from just going on to Krakoa? Why didn't he climb on top of Krakoa during Jason's Aaron run when he was just a cartoon character on the floor?
I would say that when that was happening, he did not. He was fighting with the X-Men and the mutants of the world to see if they're fit enough for this battle. And at that point, he didn't have them. The concept of mutant unity is the catalyst for Apocalypse saying, "Okay, we're ready for this."
Makes sense. I think
that's because in that House of Powers, he's like, Wolverine is like, "Don't fuck this up," and he's like, "Why would I fuck this up? This is what I always wanted."
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
and then you see him later on in that same issue, like sitting in the dark by himself, kind of somber.
Yeah.
But plotting. Somber but plotting Apocalypse.
Yeah.
So I think that
it's like I said, man, it's like everything that's happening is what he's wanted so far up to this point. So it's gonna be really interesting to see what he does now. Now, if it wasn't before, he was a secret wild card, but now it's like he's out in the open. You really don't know what's gonna happen. In the chat. Hey, what's up, Perry? What's up, dude?
Yeah.
Perry's lurking.
We're just talking about
he's currently not editing his Lord of the Rings videos.
Oh, dude, that takes forever. I can't even imagine doing the Lord of the Rings movies.
Yeah,
they're gonna be like 1 hour episodes each.
We should do the porn parodies next.
Oh man, that'd be amazing. How about like Lord of the Perrys or something? You can make each video.
Like how many times can you see Perry with his eyes wide saying, "That's a huge cock"?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it would work for like at least 30 videos.
Yeah. Don't hide it in there. Let me see it. That's what Perry
it would get a little old after 30 videos, but
yeah.
We're just talking about Apocalypse and the extracts.
Oh, right now he's on Z's stream taking a detour to say what's up.
Z stream is blowing up, man. They got like 150 people watching or something crazy.
Man, we've only got 5 watching, so we should probably wrap this up. Go watch Z's stream.
Collects.
Right now,
doing giveaways. Yeah, you guys doing giveaways or something over there? That's crazy.
Oh, yesterday there was or 2 days ago there was 15.
It's
there was 95 right at one point, and then it dropped down to 7, pretty quick. Like, what the hell happened? Where did all these people go? Where did they come from?
That are on the replay, check out Z Collects if you haven't subscribed.
Dude,
Z Collects, Perry Comics.
He's that dude over there. He's a good guy.
Yeah,
I like Z.
Z's a good dude.
Yeah. All right. I think we're going to wrap it up. We've been going an hour and a half. I want to go check out and see what's going on Z's channel.
Oh, yeah. We're going to party over there.
Go burn one on the deck and watch Z on my phone. Oh, they argued about the Mandalorian. We argued about everything else.
Oh, Grogu.
What do you guys, before we get out of here, what do you guys think about Baby Yoda getting a name?
Well, there was a meme that said it's a deep fried meme where it's a bunch of layers of stuff, and it says "Goo goo gaga, I killed John F. Kennedy." I don't know why I thought it was so funny. It was just like he's pointing a gun, there's like close up of the screen. Oh man, it was just so stupid.
My favorite meme has been Anakin going to kill all the younglings, and then it's just like a public bathroom, and Grogu's in there washing his hands.
I got one that said, hold on, let me find it real quick. I got it right here. I was gonna open up my photos. I saved it.
You gotta get in that old phone, or you got the new
on my old phone. It says it's a scene
the meme phone.
It's a scene from Billy Madison, and it's Grogu, and he's like, "Hey, Anakin, just wanted to say I'm sorry they didn't make you a master." And it's Steve Buscemi's character on the phone. He's like, "Thanks, Grogu," and he crosses him off the list. Dude.
Oh man, that's gonna be hard calling him Grogu. I've been doing a good job, I feel like, at this point, but I feel like so many people are saying it wrong, and like Grogu. It's pretty easy.
Some people are thinking
fell into that Baby Yoda mode where they're like, "It's Baby Yoda." It's like, no, it's the child. Like, I'm not saying it's the child. I'm saying it's Baby Yoda. Well, he's got a name now. Yeah, well, I'm not gonna put respect on that name.
It's Baby Yoda. Yeah, that's the consensus. Is everyone's like, no, it's Baby Yoda.
You know what I mean? That's like no one can name their child Grogu. Like people get excited about Baby Yoda if they name.
That sounds like an Aldi brand spaghetti sauce. Grogu.
Something like that.
We're all out of Grogu. Get more Grogu, honey.
This comment is great because it's hilarious, and the spelling errors.
Yeah. Yes, dude. I was gonna say that too. Yes. Don't go to school tomorrow. There's a conspiracy, or not a conspiracy, but like people like think that that's one of them is like. He got kidnapped from the school or whatever before he got sliced by Anakin, and people think maybe it was Mace Windu that took him.
That was dead,
and before that, I guess that was during the same time period.
They threw him out a window
before but that was during that same time period.
He obviously lived. If Jedi's being thrown out a window is
I think he took Grogu out before, and then he went to die later on. You know what I mean? It's like before. That's why Grogu's.
He's
not
like, listen, before we arrest this guy and think everything's going to be okay, let's take this one Jedi child and put him in a pod.
Yeah, Mace Windu had a tip, and he's like, "Yo, I'm going to get this little Jedi out of here or whatever." So there's one thing.
The clones nabbed him. Put him with the Empire. The Empire was holding on to him and trying to clone him for a while.
They say he was a Yingling. A youngling.
He's a shitty beer from Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it's like you said meme. He's like Anakin killed all the Yinglings. He's like drunk in the field with like all his bottles around. I love that meme. That's so good. And then also one, it's like, oh, well, he's already a Jedi, and that's why Rosario Dawson couldn't train him because he already knows everything. So that's like another theory. People are saying
that's a silly theory. That was actually something that annoyed me. It's like. The one person that saw like the most powerful being turn evil and destroy the fucking, almost destroy the entire galaxy. Then she's like, "Nah, I can't help you. I'm gonna go." That's
also the reason why she can't help. And I think that the fact that she had such faith in Anakin, and Anakin became such an evil entity that she feels like she doesn't want to. She don't want to carry that on her shoulders.
No, she got close to Ezra too.
She did get close to Ezra. I think I'm a little upset. The only thing I'm really upset about from the Rosario episode is that she didn't, when they called her a Jedi, she didn't say, "I'm no Jedi." That's exactly what she should have said.
That's what she should have said.
She should have said, "I'm no Jedi," and then cut them the ribbons.
Also too, she was significantly depowered.
Well, I mean, they're at the limits of special effects.
Well, I mean, there was I like Mandalorian, but I'm slowly seeing the pattern to it. Go to a planet.
Yeah.
Find a new character.
What wacky adventure they're getting into this week?
Yeah. Find a new character. The character will give you the information so long as you help them do this.
Oh, guess what? There's an Ewok in the background. There's an Ewok back there.
I'm also okay with it.
There's an Ewok back there. He talks. He talks English.
I'm also okay with it, Drew.
Talking English Ewok? But wow, this is what the fans want.
Settle down. It is what the fans want.
It's an easy formula, I think. It's very easy to please Star Wars fans, and it's nice to get that finally, actually.
It's just significantly below Clone Wars and Rebels. I was hoping we were going to get something epic that made me like that. You know what I mean? It to me, it's right around, and I enjoyed Star Wars Resistance, that other cartoon. It's
I
right
haven't had
around.
a chance to watch it yet.
It's
on
okay.
It's on the to-do list.
It's kiddies. It's more like for kids, and this is more like that. Very simple, but for adults is what. And I like The Mandalorian. I give it strong 8 kind of thing. Most of them, and some of them are a 9. But I'm starting to see the formula like a little bit too clearly. You know.
I think the formula for Star Wars has always been pretty simple, straightforward, Joseph Campbell storytelling. And I think that the fact that they've taken that and found a way to make it remain interesting while being both episodic and formulaic at the same time is a genius maneuver that is going to allow the casuals to stay invested and allow the deep dive fans the joy of experiencing Star Wars the way they want it. And I think it's brilliant, to be honest. I think that keeping it silly simple is what is making it as popular as it is right now, because I know my mom will watch it. But she would never watch anything else Star Wars fucking ever.
Yeah, I don't think
that's brilliant from a marketing point of view, but it's not as good. Not as good as Rebels. Not as good as Clone Wars. Not as good as the first 2 Darth Vader runs.
Rebels kind of has the same vibe to it in a lot of ways. It is very much
first season does.
The second season does. Then it becomes until the end of it. And then and every time they kind of reboot the concept, season 3 and season 4 reboots the concept, and they do that same thing where there's like, here's a couple of formulaic episodes, kind of procedural, and then they get into the bigger meat of the matter. But I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. I see it as a strength.
Rebels doesn't do Rebels does not do that to the extreme that Mandalorian does. You could not get into.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that, but Rebels also doesn't have the fan base that Mandalorian does.
Is different than every episode's a bottle episode. Yeah,
I agree. So, I think the one thing that Mandalorian does right is that if you can't see the alien's face, and if the alien has a different kind of like mandible structure, their dialogue is either not translated or has subtitles. Whereas like I said there was only 2 cringe moments in Solo. I think where the prequels went wrong, where the sequel trilogy goes wrong, and the third misstep of Solo is that big giant snake worm like gang boss speaks English.
Tremors.
That thing should not speak English. Make me read some subtitles, right? Or pull a Chewie and have it talk and have Han's response to it inform you as to what it said.
I think it's genius because the casual fan can understand it, and it's absolutely brilliant.
I don't think that it's genius because it's so. Anyone who knows who is a fan would do the same thing. You know what I mean? It's not like a studio business suit production. It's a fan production. You know what I mean? It's what everyone wants. It's what everyone has been asking for forever, and they just did it, and everyone loves it. I think it's easy to please Star Wars fans that are older, and new ones want something new, so they'll be pleased anyways.
It is, man.
I think it's impossible to please all Star Wars fans because it's such a divided fan base. Because a kid whose first Star Wars movie was Attack of the Clones is going to be his favorite Star Wars.
You think? I don't know,
dude.
People.
Dude, look. My ex-girlfriend's daughter loved the new trilogy.
First, that's all.
It's the first Star Wars she ever saw.
Return of the Jedi, and I love Empire, so it's like.
Well, it's
if you're born in 1990,
I was born in 84.
1990, 1991, 1992. You love the prequel trilogy.
I don't know, man. Even then, like I have younger friends, and they're like, "Yeah, we don't like those."
They are lying. Got a lot of hipster friends who are lying about their love for
dude. I think
Amidala's
I think Mandalorian. I think Mandalorian is an easy formula. Like, you just take like past creations that you've seen and anything Star Wars over the past couple decades, anything you've seen, and just put it in the background or give it a line or give it like a 2-second cameo. It's just that you recognize that it exists in a live action anything. People are going to love it. Fans are going to love it.
Yeah, but fan service isn't everything. I think that a lot of people dislike the prequels because the prequels were not fan service. I think when it came out, there's a lot of this isn't like Star Wars. And I mean, it is very, very much Star Wars, but I think because it's informed so much other media since then, it's become Star Wars. Like all of the gelatin, like in between, has been filled in at this point, where that now is the story of Star Wars, and that is not fan service stuff. Whereas like Mandalorian has the right amount of fan service, but then you look at with The Force Awakens, which is just fan service on a platter, and people hated it.
Sure, but
people ate it up, and then like a month later, we're like, that wasn't any good.
Reference specifically 4, 5, and 6. That's it in your fan service. In the same way, and do callbacks to certain past instances, certain past scenery, certain past things. Easy situation algorithm. That's all you got to do, man. It's just please the nostalgic crowd, and
but I think that The Mandalorian is so much different in the way that all of its fan service is deep dive fan service. Whereas, like, if you said, "Oh, here's Obi-Wan Kenobi," everybody would be like, "Oh, that's just fan service." It was like when you say, "Well, here's Bo-Katan." Like, if you didn't watch Rebels and Clone Wars, you don't know who the hell Bo-Katan is.
And I know who he is. Like, I know who the people are. Yeah, she. What I like, Chris.
Do you? Do you? Know?
Chris Bo-Katan.
Yeah.
Chris Kattan's sister, Bo-Katan.
The Easter eggs and the fan service in Mandalorian get an A+ for me. I love it. I mean, someone pointed out the owl to me in the Ahsoka, so I missed it. I was watching it on my phone, but the owl appears in that.
Yep.
I absolutely love the. I don't know. Fan service might be more explicit by your definition. I'm not sure. But Easter eggs fan service, I think Mandalorian does that the best. That's probably my most enjoyment is after the episode comes out, like going and reading the stuff that I missed, that the Easter eggs I may have missed, which I definitely do because I'm not looking for them. I'm trying to enjoy the show.
Yeah.
But I think Mandalorian hits those right on the button.
I've never seen Rebels or Clone Wars, and I knew about the owl. Like I saw it, I was like, oh shit, that's awesome.
Yeah. I didn't see it the first time around. My brother had to tell me. So I thought
as soon as I saw it, I started geeking out. I was watching it with my dad, and he's like what? I'm like, oh man, the cartoon I've been watching all week.
Yeah, it's same thing with the saber, dude. You got the saber.
Yeah. You know what? It's one of those things that you can't please everybody with it, but I think that they're doing a fantastic job pleasing the majority of people.
Yeah, sorry for those poor women that can't have babies.
It's like that's that good old sweetheart that we all know and love, John's Comics with Kids, his hate for the Mandalorian.
Baby Yoda's canceled. Sorry. Grogu is canceled.
Grogu can't be canceled.
He ate the eggs, remember?
When's the last time you had a breakfast buffet with no eggs on it?
Well, my wife made a point. She's all, man, everyone's going crazy about Grogu eating eggs. But Ahsoka's pretty much killing without even a thought. Like, she's not even trying to just knock people out. She's just like chopping through these.
She's no Jedi.
Soldiers. Yeah, that's not the Ahsoka we've seen, right? So she's just turned to the Grim Knight. She's the Grim Knight now.
That's awesome. I like.
She's the Ahsoka who laughs.
Yeah, murder fucking everyone.
All right, guys, we're an hour and 45. I'm going to go ahead and pull the plug on this thing. Chaos, thank you so much for hanging out. At Chaos and Comics on all the social media platforms. You can find him there. Jason, always a pleasure, my friend. We got to do this more often.
Oh, dude!
And I'll start getting a handle on this production stuff.
Nice production, by the way.
Look, you know what? I had some time today, and I threw together some stuff.
Yeah, A+. Yeah,
A+ work.
Yeah.
Well, I'll take it. It was a banger and not a plonker.
Thanks,
guys. Appreciate everybody coming through. We will see you all next time. Tomorrow night, Comic Core's probably going to be doing a stream. I don't know what we're talking about.
Okay.
You can see me there.
Nice.
And we're going to end this broadcast. Peace.